Member Gary Jones.
Just thought it was the filter.
Well, while we're waiting to hear from Fernando, we might as well get started. Maybe we want to go around really quick with introductions for everybody. Probably doesn't know each other. Bobby Carlo, Chair of the Ag Committee.
Samantha Stryker, you come down, new Ag Committee member.
Kim Burkhardt, I'm the secretary and ECB chair. I'm Lindsay Prairie, I'm the HR Parks coordinator for the town.
I'm Ray Henry. I don't know what I'm here.
Historian emeritus, member of the Ag Committee.
Yes.
Dave Sauer on the town board.
Tim Riley, I'm on the Ag committee.
Dennis Brewer, I'm on the events committee.
Sarah Reynolds, Sarah.
Oh, I know. I used to be the town historian. I knew there's something there.
Well, thanks Lindsay and Dennis for joining us. I guess we had some ideas about some type of town event involving agriculture, so Sarah recommended talk to you. Dennis.
We definitely welcome events in the parks, so I expect that we want to do it at Outhouse.
I think that seems to work out pretty well when we've done things there, or when you guys have done things there before.
It's a good park to do. It's centrally located, as everyone knows, so you'll get more attendance, whether someone knew an event was going on or not, just from people coming to the parks. So Sarah filled me in briefly on some of the ideas that you guys had. But if we wanted to just talk about that a little bit further, I mean, I'm totally on board. We just need a date. You know, what are some of the things that we're thinking about doing, really? You know, are we thinking about bringing some farm equipment or some animals or, you know, some foods? What does that look like? But really, I'm all for it.
Yes.
And I can speak for the events committee, you know, I think we're for any type of activity, and we're willing to help. I know in the past, we've done things with a July 4th parade and that type of thing.
Yeah, that's definitely not my type of thing, so that's why we need some people who know what they're doing.
Perfect.
You have what the kids are gonna wanna look at those, so that's, the important thing. That's what's gonna draw them in.
Tractors.
You know, if you could start giving us some dates or something, or some general idea of what you might want to do, I could share it with the events committee. We'll have a meeting next Friday, I think.
There's already events planned for Outhouse
Yes,
or not?
so Lindsay, at the last meeting, we did talk about a little bit about concerns with, you know, getting people, and there was a conversation. They reminded us when some of the Parks Committee had planned events, and there was kind of a question of maybe piggyback off of that somehow, or do we need to?
Instead of planning more, if we could
Just
just
have one
combine
bigger
something
event.
that you know how that stuff works, I guess, so.
So if you thought about the town concert, it's all at one end of the park, if you went towards building 100 that way with an ag thing, the only thing that we're gonna come up against is soccer.
We did on that note, not to conflict with soccer.
Yeah.
Yes. I have to find out when soccer season ends.
It usually is going during
Usually it
our,
ends in August
yeah.
for most of the teams. So like one of our August dates might work out well. What if we did during movie night? Because the movie night starts later than our like music in the park. So people are usually there a lot earlier for movie night, just ahead of time. And then you could
August
possibly have
18th. Right.
this event, you know, kind of a couple hours beforehand. The movie could, because the movie doesn't start till it gets dark at 8:30.
That's on the 18th of August.
So we could have your event start at 6. We'll have food trucks,
Right.
which food trucks bring anybody to any events going on at the parks. But I didn't know how that would work with everyone's schedule here.
You don't think 6 o'clock isn't too early to start something.
No,
No, because we start our movie night, like, we have it open where like the food trucks and stuff are ahead of the movie. So we open that up at 6 anyway. It's just,
Bounce house, they have bounce
Bounce
houses and
houses,
stuff like
yeah.
that. So it would be a great, that would be a great
Mhm.
marriage, I think, because people are looking for stuff to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So and it would draw people, might draw people into the movie night as well. I mean, I think there'll be, you know, a symbiotic relationship between the two events, so.
and what are our thoughts on utilizing building 100? Do you guys have any indoor things that you would want to maybe set up or anything?
Mm,
Or is it primarily all
talk.
outdoor?
I think outdoor would be better, just given the number of people. But don't you think it'd get kind of crowded in
It could,
there?
I'm thinking both, you know, having some outdoor,
Yeah.
and then if, I know there's some talking about like some sampling or, you know, of products and stuff, you could possibly do that inside. I also think that's beneficial to the town, because some people may have never seen the inside of our buildings. And they might be like, oh my gosh, this place is really nice, we can rent it, and then.
Yeah, I think it would be a good idea to have to do
Looks
that. I
like a
think
sh-
Does anyone make
shed.
cheese in the town? And you could do like cheese or, yeah, it's too far away. but-
There's two.
Hi, Tim.
Good evening.
Hey.
Hey there.
No, not right in the town, but we could still find, I mean, I don't know, if we do local foods, I don't know, it has to be Canandaigua, I think, local.
We're gonna have to spread out just because we don't have a
Yeah.
variety.
We did talk, I was looking at my notes from the last one, and we did talk about, like, we made a list, like, we got honey bear farms over on,
Hungry Bear.
was it
Saltonstall.
46? or kind of-
It's right by the solar array
Yeah,
there. right?
yep. And, you know, someone brought up, I think Sam, you brought up Rocky Ridge maple,
Mhm.
you know, veggies like sensibilities, I thought, sure, yeah, so. Yeah, and other people, obviously, but, you know, just a quick list and other ideas to look for, yeah, cheese. You know, fresh flowers or even, you know, fruit and stuff like that. So we talked about trying to involve food somehow, whether it be samples or like a farmer's market. I think you even said, what about making it a farmer's market?
We might be able to get Gary Jones to bring some of those displays
Oh, yeah, yeah. Stuff that people, especially
Put
kids, can
for
touch.
inside.
Or even outside, if he wanted to do, he has an antique hay bale thing that he always does for kids at
Yeah.
different events.
We wanna talk to him into it, in other words, right?
Sure.
something to think about for the future. I don't know if you recall, prior to COVID, I came to one of your meetings, we talked about doing a float, during the day. When COVID came along, we kind of dropped it. And I think for this coming 4th of July, I think the events committee already has an idea for the future that's, and of course, Tim always had the antique tractor in the parade.
Yep, had the Farm All M, our antique tractor in the several 4th of July parades now.
Gonna count on you this year, right?
I'd gladly partake again this year.
Perfect.
One question I have on the, like food sampling, the one concern I have is predicting the number of people and how you would do that. Or how the people that are doing this would do
I
that.
think you have to put
You
a
really
disclaimer on it.
can't.
It's
really
serve
good
until
for-
you run out.
Right, I think you put that disclaimer out there that, you know, you've got food for 200 people, or whatever. Your samples for 200
But also, I
people.
don't think anyone will be disappointed, or they won't go hungry because we do have food trucks.
Right.
You know. So I think that's just to be expected that something runs out. or-
Yeah, and if it's a small amount of sampling, there's really no competition against food trucks because it's
Right.
totally different.
Very
Totally
different.
And actually quite a ways away. If you're doing it building 100, the food trucks will be up by the other one there, so.
Or even on the outside of building 100 too. I'm just trying to think of space. So our movie nights are typically the busiest event that we have, where sometimes it does take up all 3 parking lots. This past year, it only took up 2. However, you know, the tractors we would like to have displayed, you know, in a parking lot somewhere nice. So I'm even thinking whether it's the movie night or the music in August that we have.
I think movies are great. option
Because
because
there's
people are
kids.
looking for things to do prior to a movie. And we could park people on the soccer fields. We just have to
Right,
make sure there's no,
and
or park equipment on the soccer fields, you know, so, because it's pretty rugged down there.
And having stuff outside rather than inside that
Mhm.
building is gonna be more visible, because you could put it farther down so that people getting out of their cars need to walk by it. You can even do a tent.
signs too, or we could have some, in the middle of that parking lot, like, okay, food vendors here, and then, it's also an ag event that we're having, or whatever you wanna call it, and we'll advertise it along with.
Do you have specific release assigned already for it?
Yeah, there's a movie that they've
Yeah.
already, but I was just thinking you could get some kind of hayride on that path, to start over down there. Because people will be into that, you know what I mean?
You can use the tent for the hayride.
Maybe. Maybe, I was thinking, I was thinking at least, yeah, if we could have the M there for display, but it very well might just be for display. I'll have to think about that.
I think people will want to see modern farm equipment too, not just the old stuff there. I mean, they're gonna want to see the stuff that's driving along the road. I mean, that's part of the deal is that you want to make them aware of when you see this piece of equipment, here's its function. And here's why it's going so slow, and don't try to pass it, you know what I mean, to try to educate as well as give people a good experience of ag.
Maybe serves of
I-
technology as well, like.
I-
guesses or-
Right.
I like that point, the farm road safety. I believe the public should have more awareness of agricultural equipment on the roads and how to be safe around them. It's a very important topic on the farm.
We might be able to, there might be some display information from extension on some safety stuff like that, road safety.
I think there is.
Mhm.
Maybe for next year, you could incorporate ag in the park along with an ag movie at the end of it, or between the movies and stretch out the main movie that you have. I'm just thinking, feel
Like an ag trailer,
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
we probably could still do that, you know what I mean, you could probably still do an ag
Ag
trailer.
technology. the
Right,
town of Kennewick
right.
will have something.
If cooperative extension has some movie that they'll show us, we could blast that out before the movie.
You could just run a drone through Bob Carlos, barnyard there.
We have lots of those videos ready to go.
Just put them together.
Well, the people would love it, I mean, they do.
And I think if we build on this too, like, let's try it this year, see how it goes, and then I think every year we can build on it and make it bigger, or we can change things, but I think, I know Dave's on the same mindset as me, we just gotta try it.
Right.
Yes.
Like, we're open to that, and I think this is great, because how many, kids and families would be super excited to see these things that they don't get to see up close, And then if you can have an education piece into that, I think that would be amazing. I know at the fair, and I'm sure you guys are probably involved in that, but they always have like farm safety equipment board, like my kids walk through it all the time, they see it, I mean, I educate myself too, but at least there's some display up, so when you're just passively walking by, you can look at something and learn something too. Are we thinking of animals at all, or no?
And then if you want an animal, I could bring a horse. It's pretty common.
It is an attraction. 'Cause
Yeah, they'll-
we tried it last year with a Halloween activity. It was very popular. 4-H club brought some animals
Some
over.
animals,
And it's the same thing, with a Halloween event. We've had it, had it for 5 years now, it grew from 200 people to 800, 900 people now, so it's hard to anticipate what's going to.
Right, and then weather dependent too, that always.
And, we
It always
find,
rains and we have music in the park.
Yeah.
We
we
just
find
learned
that people want something to do. And I think Lindsay's right, start small.
Mhm.
And then eventually it could just be an egg fair
Mhm.
and have nothing else, I think enough people would be interested in it.
When were we talking?
August
Like-
18th,
Pardon?
August. Mhm.
I think I just missed it.
So you,
Yeah, animals, maybe, I don't know.
It doesn't have to be
Maybe not the first time.
this year, this could
Yeah.
just be,
right,
small
there'll be no animals this time.
equipment, smaller things, and like I said, we could just build on that, year after year.
Fernando's in Idaho.
The 4-H group
So
that,
it's not.
that brought animals, they brought like a goat and some chickens and that type of thing, nothing large, no horse or cow or whatever.
And I know I had mentioned last meeting, or I discussed it with the group about it would probably be my task that I ought to look into making up some posters for this event about all the agricultural products produced in the town, and even take it a step further and say the entire county and have them all listed and have images and all kinds of intriguing details on display.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
Little booth or little display with all that information. I think it would interest the public. It would definitely interest me. I know that's for sure. So I think they would go along with the awareness and education.
Yeah, we have tables that we could provide too, because we'll obviously have outhouse hall, booked under us for that day, so that way we're not competing with other groups. So we can use the tables from there for whatever displays you guys want, really. I mean, whatever your imagination holds, I mean, we can, let's do it. But I do think August 18th would be the best
I
day,
think it is.
starting at 6 o'clock. If that works for everybody here as far as the month.
So we're saying August type of. You don't have a definite date or
We do,
August
August
18th.
18th,
Yep.
okay.
In conjunction with the town,
With the
the
movie
first
night.
committee movie.
Yeah.
Starting about 6.
Yeah.
Right.
And the movie usually starts a little after 8, so that gives about 2 hours.
So they've already got food trucks. I think there's 2 food trucks and an ice cream truck. So there's plenty of food that would, I think it'll just bring more people in. So I think it'll be great.
I think maybe for the first year, we don't even try to do food sampling, or
That's fine.
just depends on who. I know I'm gonna need some help from the committee, because I can't do all of it, so. If we have somebody that's got a lot of connections and really wants to dive into that, that's fine, but if not, maybe we should wait for next time.
I think that's okay.
Yeah,
I think it can be as much as you guys want or as little at this point, and then,
Yeah.
I mean, to Dennis's point, Halloween at Onondaga started off small and now it's a huge event. But I say we do it. Let's do it. August 18th, 6
yeah,
o'clock is the time
I
slot. We'll
think it
start
would, I think it would be
putting
great.
some communication out.
So what do you need from us for next steps then?
I
What
will
kind
give you
of-
the
what
land
kind
and the
of things
parking
do you
lot, and
wanna-
you just bring your stuff
It
there.
sounded like you were a little worried about parking though, because sometimes moving night will fill up the whole.
Sometimes.
We can
It
get-
won't
we can
though,
get-
if there's
We can-
tractors parked there.
We can get lights and volunteers to park.
Yeah,
people.
we have
Parking won't be
we
an
have
issue.
overflow parking anticipated.
Okay,
I think what you need to do is list what you're going to do. What are you going to bring? What tractors are you going to bring? What kind of displays do you want? And then the event, the members of the events committee will be there to help you set up or whatever. But I'm all for it. I think it would be, I can't speak for the whole committee.
What
I think it-
accommodations would
You just
you
did.
need for getting equipment onto the soccer field, if that's where we're gonna park any
as long
kind
as
of farm
it's,
equipment?
well, the only risk with that is if we get rain.
Yeah.
But then we can
Yes.
park, but we can park it in the parking lot. I mean, I think there's an option.
Yeah, if it's really nice weather and dry, it'd probably be nice to have it parked out there, because then you still have a parking lot for cars, people have room to walk around.
Yeah,
Away, kids, keeps kids away from the parking lots when they're walking
Kids-
around.
the kids tend to congregate out in the grass anyway.
Yeah, I've
It's
had my kids
natural.
down there, they run all over.
Yeah,
Should we try to get some of these vendors or people like Rocky Ridge, Hungry Bear? If there's somebody, cheese, Artisan Meats is in town, I mean, they make sausage, I'm sure, every time I've ever asked them for stuff, they give it to us, so.
Even if we had a few of them inside the building.
Yeah.
we could
That's right.
invite them and tell them what we're doing and
Mhm.
see if they have their own ideas of how they
Right,
might like to
right.
participate.
Right,
They could set up on their own for samples, so make it easier.
Tell them we have an inside space or an outside space. This is what we're doing, would you like to? come? Lindsay, if they wanted to come and sell things, how would that work?
They work just like the food trucks. They would just have to have a license to sell within Ontario, which I'm assuming they do if they have a business. That would be it, as long as they're approved through Department of Health.
Should we contact the farmer's market people, say, hey, you want to do an additional farmer's market on this date?
They will be doing one the next morning.
You gotta be really careful, because you might just be stretching this way too thin.
Yeah, that would
for
be
all these
difficult.
events that might
So I don't know if they would-
You could also have a banjo band, you know, too, but it probably wouldn't fit.
But it's,
You
no,
know,
Anything
it's-
goes.
if you talk to the
Anything
farmer-
in
Anything
mind.
goes.
if you talk to the
Imagination
farmer's
is what
market,
you
it's not on us,
So
it's
you
on
want-
them,
no,
you know what I mean? That's the only thing.
You don't want me to banjo.
But,
Yeah, if they have a farmer's market the next morning, I don't know that way.
It
That's
runs
tough.
every Saturday morning.
They
So
usually want to make money,
this is true.
so, I mean, they'd be selling their stuff, you know what I mean? There'd be no if and buts about that.
I guess, does anybody have a contact with the farmer's market?
They have a
Contact
contact
us.
on the website.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I guess we could
them personally,
contact them, they could see if they have any members that are interested in participating. And then we would know, it wouldn't be like
Right.
just show up that day, we would want to probably.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we had
Yeah,
a
no,
list of
have-
people who are coming, right?
That might not be a bad idea, because then,
And you know
Yeah, that'd be
what's
able
gonna
to-
happen.
You know, the two girls that now own Beacons,
Farmer.
they've been really excellent as far as helping us out. They helped us with the Halloween activity, that type of thing. I don't know if they would be interested
where,
showing up with some things or whatever.
what is that?
Up by Mungo Tractor, you know, that little that farm stand there, there's
Okay.
two women bought
I
it.
mean, it's a
I was
commercial
wondering,
thing, you know, it's
really.
not.
Is it, I know, probably gonna ask a crazy question, but what about vineyards? What about the microbreweries? You know, you're talking about cheese. What goes with cheese? You told me that.
I wish we could,
I like to stay away from any
We-
alcohol or whatever.
We might be able to get a permit for that, though.
They would have to, but they can only consume it inside the building. And it has to be by, basically like a caterer to serve.
Well, they would have their own license if it was a winery or something. You know, and if they
We're
consume it
entering
in
into
the.
uncharted
I get-
territory.
Let's not worry about that this year,
Yeah.
good idea,
Yeah,
but
Personally, I
Also, is
object
that
to the
only for
alcohol
women?
part, that's-
No.
I don't know.
especially if you're having a bunch of things with kids.
Yeah,
yeah, let's,
Might just be
keep
the
it
two buildings
to
on one.
kids.
Table that for a second, because I love it, first of all, we just need approval for that.
And wine is a big part of our
It's a big part of our community.
agribusiness.
It's huge part.
I'm looking for court.
Downstairs.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah. Go wherever the cars are.
It's not gonna go well for them.
So I guess the information I would need, just to help with the coordinating piece and where to place everything, is just the number of pieces of equipment. If you want to have booths or stuff like that, just the amount, and then we can coordinate together on where the best placement for those things would be really what I would need.
Is our focus for the kids, or is this for more general population?
Just to piggyback off of the kids, I mean, I have a friend that she created a children's book that was about the lake, and I mean, I could ask her if she would be willing to have like a little booth selling it, because she's
So cute.
she had like a little display a while ago at that dog boutique, and it follows her dog that talks about kind of the lake and then the ecosystems of the lake and such. And it's a bit I don't know if you have heard of it. But yeah.
So is this more like a farmer's market for people to sell and sample, or is this more like to promote agriculture?
I'd say both.
Yeah,
If
but
if
I
we
would
can
think
make both work, right.
I think promote.
Agriculture, I would say,
You
is
know,
number one, right.
So,
Yeah, I think.
so, yeah, the kids obviously aren't as interested in the farmer's market, but,
I think they're also interested kids are interested in touching and feeling and seeing equipment too.
yeah, so, the equipment will draw the kids more, and then that'll probably draw the parents in the farmer's market.
You know, when I worked the fair, the county fair, that's a big draw, the machinery, you know, the kids love it, they. They'll take the pictures,
Love
taking
it.
it, they like to
Kids
crawl
too.
on it if it's legal, that type of thing, so. You know, I think you just exhibit farm machinery and what farmers are doing, that type of thing. I don't think you're worried about whether you're selling any type of product or produce or anything else. I mean, that's a side thing, but I think you promote agriculture, and I think, you know, you have the tractors and the other machinery
I mean, that'll just naturally draw.
and that type of thing.
Question on, so like, if kids like to climb on the equipment and stuff, what about, liability?
Right.
as far
Yeah,
as
I
that
don't
goes?
think you can let them climb on the
We
equipment. I
have-
think you can let them see it, you know what I mean?
I mean, we have liability insurance.
Does it?
Yeah, but what if
extend
it's
to
like,
the
what if
piece
it's
of
something,
equipment
yeah, if it's somebody else's piece of
on
equipment?
display?
If it's our event.
Yeah, we would just call the insurance company and
just
say,
ask.
this is what we're doing, right?
The kids get on the equipment over at the fair, so I don't know.
Above our
Kids
pay
gonna-
grade.
Lindsay and I can ask that.
I mean,
But
we
you don't
make it-
necessarily want people climbing on your $500,000
No.
combine, you
No.
know, so.
Pushing
It'd be better just to have them look,
Well-
touch, right, but not.
Well, some maybe, I mean, we had kids climbing all over stuff at one of the farm.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, they're gonna wanna climb on it. If you put ropes around it, kids are gonna go under it, then you're just gonna have to chase kids around.
No.
Now, what do we meet once a month or? Because I'll take this back to the, you know, the events committee and share with them, and again, I'm sure we're more than willing to help out. But they also might have some ideas, you know, Oksana is unbelievable, we coming up with unique ideas for activities and things, so. You know, I'd like to come to your next meeting and at least share what they've come up with, and in the meantime, if we could set up exactly what you're gonna be doing, you know, we're gonna bring this type of tractor, like Lindsay said. And that way we start having an idea of, I
Yeah,
think
we
how
meet
can-
monthly, but we'll have to do some communication, through email or something in between.
You know, I think we should think about something that everybody can take away from there and do in their own house or in their own community. Composting, you know, we've talked about composting before, and I think that we should really have a board about composting
I
there.
can invite someone from the county who would probably be more than willing to show up.
That'd be very.
There's someone from the
Good.
town would be very good.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we could probably invite, and either she could probably come or give us something to display. Just real quick on the, going back to like inviting producers, whether they're coming to give samples or show us what they make or sell something at the farmer's market, one of the original ideas, reasons we talked about it is to show people that we can have producers in our town who, you know,
right.
yes, everybody can drive by the fields and see that we're growing things in the fields, but, you know, do they know that there's
This is
someone who
what we're
makes
growing,
maple?
right,
Do
exactly,
they
right.
know that there's other stuff here too? And so it's kind of a different, a little extra, like, you know, you see all these fields, but look what else we can do.
So they're producing something, there's a process to producing that. So what is that process? And here's the end result. This is how hard these people work to go ahead and produce this stuff, you know, in this short period of time. And, you know, you had to have an overriding theme of the entire event that's probably gonna last for years, you know, after this, because it sounds pretty good. I'm gonna want to come back to it again, you know, for years and years on after this. You know, what is that theme that, and, you know, what I just said, kind of makes sense to me.
Downstairs.
We got a lot left over. Courts downstairs. Big
Yeah,
sign.
they might be coming in front door. I don't know if it's, so you guys could come in.
I wanted to make a comment before I forget, piggybacking on the thought of having a farmer's market kind of along with with this event we're planning. I remember at Fun on the Farm, there was some folks there who had a booth where they were selling maple syrup. And I know maple syrup is a pretty interesting product, but specifically to the Northeast and part of Canada. So, I mean, I think maple syrup is cool, so. Some other products too. One product I think doesn't get enough attention is honey. You know, honey production. I wonder if that would be interesting to have represented at the event, you know, things like that. So I don't know, I just felt like I should make the comment because with a farmer's market, I'm not sure who and all shows up to those, you know, what kind of products and all are there, so I didn't know.
Cheese and maple syrup, oh my gosh, getting hungry just thinking about all of that.
Cheese sounds good, yeah.
You reach out to the farmer's market to let them know like how many people we could probably accommodate. Is there, do you have any idea if we use that building about how many vendors we could have?
Inside, you could probably set up 4 tables and then capacity is around 50. But you would have people in and out, like we do have doors, we have 2 different types of exits, so I mean, it could be an easy, nice flow.
There's a covered area
People,
too.
there
where you
is,
could-
yeah.
You could put tables on the outside as well.
Okay. Guess first we'll reach out to them and see what they have to say.
Right.
If they say there's 50, then we might have to like come up.
Maybe with the 10.
But you know, if they ask about attendance at the event, because that's what all the food vendors ask for, I mean, it's hundreds and hundreds of people. I think when we have like 400 one year and 300 another year. So it'll be big, it'll be good size.
Turkey producers could come in and push, put their order down.
Yeah.
All right, I'll contact the farmer's market and see what kind of interest we get from them.
As a poultry producer, it's always a good thing to have all of your birds sold before the end date. That's good.
I can call the funny people.
But they're not involved with the farmer's market.
I don't know.
I know a maple producer that's involved in the farmer's market, I think.
Those maple producers that want to come and sell their stuff, I mean, it's a great outlet for them.
Garlic. who sells
And there must be some residents that sell their own produce, right? Tomatoes, cucumbers, corn in the town.
There's a lot of Mennonites that do that.
There's a lot of them.
That's why I wonder if we connect with the farmer's market. They've already got a group, then we don't have to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
They want to do it, we do it. If they don't want to do it, we don't do it. You know what I mean? 'Cause
Yeah, and if-
we don't want any more work for us. We're gonna have our hands full doing what we're gonna.
Yeah, and if there ends
Well,
up
the
being,
idea would be that these people would come on their own with their own
Right,
stuff and
yeah,
do
right.
everything on their own. We're just inviting them to come and use a space.
Right.
I just wouldn't want to exclude town producers by just inviting the farmers market.
Well, I would rather invite town producers versus the farmer's market, but we have to identify them. That's the hard part.
And that's why I said we can call the ones we know about.
Yeah.
yeah, I
You
was,
guys know about
I would-
anybody.
I was thinking about that too, but if there is somebody that somehow we missed and they're left out, well.
They'll come to us. and
Next
tell
year.
us.
they'll come-
Next
yeah, they'll
year,
come to
right.
us and say we want to do it.
I
Yeah.
recall that at one time, on the town's website, there was a listing of all the town producers and what they produce.
And there was a listing of what I could find. By no means was it all.
Yeah, but it was an extensive list.
I got it from
regardless.
the county.
Okay,
Their, the county puts out that brochure that has, ag producers in the county.
Mhm.
And so I just pulled out the ones that were in town.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's
S-
not there. It's accurate anymore.
Where could I find that?
That was a while ago.
If you go to the town website, to the ag committee page, you can just go to the town website and there's a search bar and you can click on, and you can type in agricultural committee. Once you
Okay,
get to the ag committee's page, there's a link on there that says something like local producers or town producers or lists of ag producers in the town. I don't remember what it says, but it'll take you to a page with a table. But again, we haven't revisited that list in a long time.
that has been about 5
Okay.
years.
Tim, you may be able to get some of that information too through cooperative extension or even FSA might have some of that.
yeah, those are the entities I was thinking of that would, I would think would have that information. Of course, I figured the USDA definitely. So,
You were gonna take on working on those displays yourself.
yeah, yep, I was gonna take that on.
Should we
See,
also include the FFA, Future Farmers of America, allow them to have a table or a booth or a poster board? And perhaps, Ag and Markets Committee to be able to go ahead and talk about that, as well as the Cornell Cooperative Extension and the USDA that's out here on kind of Route 10 may be, appropriate to come and talk about financing and funds available for, all of these producers. But, maybe I'm going to. So Just ideas.
I think, doing it with a movie, the other activity that's going on, I think some of those things would be difficult, but I think hopefully your goal is to continue this and have an egg or egg fair every single year and just have the egg fair. And I think that could grow, and then that way you could have speakers talking about those types of things.
You eventually have it be its own event.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's nothing but a
Mhm.
all-day event or whatever, just dealing with agriculture.
And then at the end of it, you could show.
But I think you're getting your feet wet this time or something and seeing what.
Yeah, just to get some interest and see how people respond to it.
It'll be interesting to see how people respond and whether they step up to the plate and say, yes, I want to participate in that as a producer or as, an organization or something.
I think we're going to also get people from the city. It's not going to be just the town. If you're at the park right there,
I think that's the beauty of doing it at Outhouse Park.
Yeah.
You have a whole extra population. to
Right.
draw
A
from.
lot of people walk to it too, so.
Are there any other events that are occurring on that weekend? Like within the
Is it
town? or the
the
city?
St. Mary's?
I think we're the week
Fair?
before.
Did we do it the week
I
before?
think, yeah.
The St. Mary's Festival that weekend.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure if that weekend or the weekend after. We just ran into that last year when our event was on the same night as the St. Mary's Fair.
I don't, I just live right down the road from.
That's true.
American label.
Yes.
My friend with label is not a good label.
I know someone, okay, so they do some of their, they get some of their staff from Dennis Money's land.
And then their merchandise is sold at the treasure store.
Is it? Might. I'm sure I could find, I mean, all of these places you can find a phone number for. It's just, it is easier if you know.
So at my next Parks and Rec meeting at the end of this month, I'll bring this up just to make sure that they're on board, which I don't anticipate any pushback.
Yeah. We're not trying to crash the party. We're just
No,
trying to
no.
join it.
I just think it's gonna be a wonderful offering during that 2 hours when not much, I mean, there's bounce houses, but it would be nice to incorporate this event, I think. To Dennis's point, to just start, building the interest, and then eventually the goal would be to have this be its own event. Because I see a lot of options, there's a lot of potential for this.
Yeah, I think it'd be.
Yeah, I think it
good
could
just
be
to-
something big.
Just to start something this year.
Yeah.
Make it happen and then see where it goes.
And it also seemed like there was a desire to try something a little different from the county fair.
Interlaken,
It just doesn't get it. We've never had a real good event there, once or twice.
Interlaken has, I think it's a historical society, has an agricultural day. They have all kinds of activity, including, they do it out in a field and stuff, so they show some of the old horse-drawn plows and some of the antique farm equipment working and that type of thing. So, maybe that's your goal in 3-4 years, see how things go. And I mean, that attracts an awful lot of people in Interlaken. I've been to that a couple of times. Well, when's your next meeting? Once we get, Lindsay and I get feedback, we can come to the next meeting and tell you what kind of response we got. Maybe the park committee, the events committee will say no way or whatever.
Hopefully not.
They'll say yes. So it looks like the St. Mary's Festival is the 24th and
Okay,
the
so the following
26th. Yeah, it's the
Okay,
following week.
great.
I think we changed the movie to non-conflict with that.
Will be the warm up for that.
Right. Well, they've got that lawn sale on the week before, but that won't affect us.
So when's the parks meeting?
The 4th Wednesday of the month, so the 20.
So you'll have a meeting this.
Yes, this month, yeah.
26th. 26th.
The events.
And we'll have it, we're supposed to have it next week. So it's
And this group meets again on May 11th.
May 11th.
We may or may not have other things on the agenda that night, but
Well, we'll have to.
we'll see. And but we could maybe we could talk about this first and then do referrals if we have.
I mean, after my meeting on the 26th, I can send an email that you could distribute to the.
Yeah, if
committee
you could just communicate, that way we know, or they might
ahead
have,
of time.
yeah, or they might have some good ideas on direction or something.
The clock's ticking. Do you think we should contact some of these people like that we're talking about trying to get in even prior to that?
Oh, yeah, I was thinking. of
Sooner
that.
It's like right away,
Right
like
away.
say,
Sooner, better.
yeah.
Yeah, maybe just say we,
Yeah, but would that be acceptable without permission, buy-in from your group? Go ahead and start.
Parks will be fine, I think, don't you? I mean, they're pretty easy going. They'll appreciate that help.
Sure.
I think if I contact them, I would just word it as
We're looking at doing an
considering
event,
to do
would
this
you be,
event,
would you
have
be
interest?
interested? Yes, great, put their name down and then. talk to them.
I mean, we could contact Mark and have him just send a poll out to the committee to say, hey, we're trying to do this with them, or you want to soft sell it to them.
Sometimes it works, sometimes there's not much response from
Yeah,
the
yeah.
emails.
But most of those guys on the Parks Committee are pretty good.
I have no doubt that they will support this.
I do, I have no doubt. I came from the Parks Committee, I mean, we'd be all over this.
I'm kind of waiting till you have your meeting and just sending out an email to us.
Well, could you go ahead and poll them?
Sure.
Just a quick statement, what's your.
Yes, sir.
opinion?
Push it out. Gauge their interest.
And Lindsay and her staff are phenomenal helping
Yeah.
out with activities. I mean, the Halloween activity we had last year, they pitched in, they did almost all the cleaning up and everything else. It's just phenomenal group, so.
And I know the special events committee has a lot of events planned, so if there is any pushback or anything, I know for sure we can make this, work.
Yeah,
I
I'm
think
sure.
it'll be okay.
Yeah, we have a lot on our plate right
Yeah.
now.
So at some time, maybe we should meet with Parks, both committees together, say this is, just have one planning meeting.
I think we
maybe.
would have to.
Yeah, oh, yeah, yeah,
We would
yeah.
definitely
So
have to, just to
just
coordinate.
to get this synergy with the committees.
Yeah, like an extra meeting or just a joint, one of our already scheduled meetings, depending on what's going on.
We could sample all of the producers.
That sounds good. I think we should definitely do that.
Who's gonna bring?
Who's gonna bring it? We could even do it on site at Outhouse too,
Just get a look at the facility, yeah,
just to check
just to
out.
lay it out. So what are you thinking in terms, I mean, I look at you, but strikers also have a bunch of equipment. So I mean, what are we thinking that we want to bring to like 5 pieces of equipment or?
Yeah, I was thinking maybe 1 or 2 older tractors and 2, 3 newer pieces of equipment. I don't know, Samantha or Tim.
That'd be 10.
I know I definitely would value the M being there on display, that it basically embodies an historic gem. I feel it's a wonderful old machine, and it was Farmall was very big company back in those days, and it could be great to have that on display. I know I love showing off the too, on a personal note, but also for an education standpoint, I think it would be great. And also it's a privilege to be able to showcase things like that. So I greatly value that.
Hey, Tim, if you want a very old piece of equipment, I believe it's a cultivator that I found in a hedgerow.
Gotcha.
It's just sitting there. It's in amazing condition. When it rusted over, it sealed it. So, the rust didn't continue all the way through.
Interesting. Well, what machine does that cultivator fit to?
I think it
Well,
was probably wrong.
Okay, because interesting. Well, I'm
Yeah.
It's yours if you want it.
I think I'm all
Yeah.
set for now.
We could probably bring 1 or 2
Thanks,
tractors, and Tim, if you wanted to bring, I wasn't thinking about any implements on the tractors or anything, that takes up too much space,
Right.
is my thought.
Yeah,
Yeah, but that's the action. It's a dude, who knows what a cultivator does, out there in the state. Not many people.
All right, I don't know, do you have any smaller grain trucks, or you're all semis?
We have tractor trailer. Yeah, semi. They potentially maybe one of the other bigger machines could be there, but I think at the least to have the M there.
That with a couple bigger tractors, I
Mhm.
think is.
Yeah, one of
it.
Do we want it?
Maybe not the first year. So. All right, we can, once I get some contact with the farmer's market, I'll let everybody know. And if anybody has ideas too, just pass them around in email.
If anyone else wants to volunteer to contact any of the other local producers that you know of or whatever, let me know.
I do business with Hungry Bear. I can talk to Kim. It's that honey.
They sell bee supplies.
Well, they have thousands of hives. They go all over the country. They go to Almonds, they go to Florida. They go everywhere.
Wait to hear from Lindsay's poll results and meeting.
I'll send it out first thing tomorrow.
Thank you guys for joining us and
Of course.
being willing to
So
help.
Thank
excited.
you for inviting us.
Can't wait.
So we'll see what, May 11th.
May 11th, and we'll all probably hear from each other in between.
All right, thank you all.
If you have any other questions or something, just get a hold of us.
I know where to find Sarah.
Yeah.
Thank you. No, anything else?
No
Oh.
referrals.
You might want to make an announcement about the new member.
Get to introduce herself as the newest member, but Samantha, congratulations to Samantha is officially being our new member.
Yeah.
So, that's pretty good. We got two new members this year, Well, and Dave too. Unofficial member.
Ad hoc,
Yes.
right? That's right.
So maybe
Can't vote.
Maybe we can continue to keep recruiting people. What size are most of the other committees? I think we talked about this. before.
They range from 5 to 7,
Oh, so
pretty
not
much.
Same idea, same size.
Mhm.
Except for the town board committees, those are smaller, but they're different.
They're different.
They serve a different purpose.
They're really different.
But yeah, 5 to 7-ish.
Well, if you have more people on the board, it's easier to gain quorum.
Well, in this group, your rule is 3, which is nice because you don't have a full membership. You still have one day.
Gary Davis, right? I mean, even though he wasn't supposed to be, he was a
So we've
member.
got.
Tim, how's your dad?
Ray.
Hanging in there. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, hanging in there. Yeah, we're getting ready for spring.
We don't count as voting.
Getting ready for spring. Yeah.
But Samantha is,
okay.
Yes,
Right.
but I think I counted 6. So we do actually have a vacancy.
Well, if we have nothing else, we adjourn.
A second.
Thank you for joining us, Tim.
Yes, thank you, guys.
We start waxing the M tonight. Ready?
Yeah. Can never do it too early. It's got to sparkle.
All right.
Say
we'll see you
hello
later.
to you,
Yes.
to your dad.
Yep, yep, will do. Alrighty, see you guys. Good night.
Yeah.
Bye.
See.
I don't know who you had for the composting.